Hello everyone, my name is Yeong and today I'm going to talk about the encoding and decoding model of communication. And this is my friend who's going to join for the presentation, Jonathan. And before we jump into the theory itself, we are going to talk about the founder of the model. His name is Stuart Hall, also known as Stuart McPhail Hall, and that's the picture of him. He was born on the 3rd of February 1932 and he passed away on the 10th of February 2014. He is a Jamaican-born cultural theorist, sociologist, and political activist. He, along with Richard Huggard and Raymond Williams, was one of the founders of the Birmingham School of Cultural Studies. And after that, he founded the New Left Review in the 1950s. The New Left Review is a magazine, academic journal, a bi-monthly academic journal that covers culture, politics, and mass comm theories. And of course, he was known for finding the model in 1973 of the decoding and decoding model. Next. Before we jump into the theory, I will explain what does decoding means and encoding. Encoding is the production of message and a system of coded meanings. There are two types of symbols in the encoding version. Basically, they are the verbal and non-verbal symbols. The verbal, basically the expression with the use of words, and non-verbal symbols basically are the usage of expression of non-usage of words. Example of verbal symbols are basically signs, words, image, and videos. And for non-verbal symbols are basically facial expression, hand gestures, and body language. And decoding is how the audience interpret and understand a certain message. Basically, they use that code and they translate it and give the symbols a meaning and translate into how they're supposed to understand the thing. Okay. Basically, effective communication only exists if the recipient of the message, they understood the message given by the sender in the sender's intended way. But because of that, misunderstanding also happens and distortion, because the recipient of the message may misunderstood and meant the other way around of what the sender is trying to imply by the message. And because of that, Hall, in his essay, he realized his old model, his first model, has its flaws, and that's why he compares two models, both of his two models, which is the traditional model and the 4-stage model. The traditional model, he implies that he realized it's too straightforward, it's too simple and not complex enough. So that is why he created the 4-stage model, because he feels that the traditional model is like, it still can be improved and further advanced. Next. As you can see, the 4-stage model. Basically, this is a diagram and it consists of production, circulation, use, and reproduction. The lengthy production is organized through the use of language. Basically, it means each symbol, when they want to encode the message into the diagram, they use language. So the recipient can interpret the message and they can think of what they see from their own perspective. Okay. Once communication is accomplished, they translate it to social practice for it to be complete and effective. Basically, when the message have no meaning, when the encoding of the message have no meaning, basically there's no consumption. That means when the message have no meaning, the recipient won't be able to understand what the conversation is all about. So basically, they won't consume and use the message. Each stage, obviously in the 4-stage model, it is different, but it helps define the one after. But that doesn't mean all the stage, basically that's 4-stage, basically production and circulation, doesn't mean when the production happens, the circulation will happen. Because the recipient might not be active and they might not receive the message and interpret it in a different way. And that's where production comes in. Production is when the encoding happens. It has long lengthy aspect because it is framed by meanings and ideas. For circulation is how individual perceives and how they look at things. There are two versions, basically how they look at it in the visual form or the written form. basically is how things are circulated. It depends in a way of how things are circulated. It can affect the way how the recipient receives the message. And for use, which is the third stage in a 4-stage model, it means distribution or consumption. Basically, the conversation, the broadcast structure, they must encode the message in a very meaningful conversation way, so that the recipient can they can successfully realize that what the message is all about. But even though that's the case, the recipient needs to be active. They need to be able to accept what the message is about. And for reproduction, basically it takes place right after the recipient have received the message. It's basically like how they're gonna react towards the message. The reproduction, basically decoding means how the decoding of the purpose of decoding is how they're supposed to influence, instruct, and entertain the audience. So basically, when their reaction, when they receive the message, they can either react towards it or do nothing about the message when they receive the message. It's basically their reaction. Next. Basically, to conclude, Stuart Hall mentioned that the encoding and decoding is very important, because without that, communication can't work. For example, in an event, certain event can't be transmitted. What an individual see, they can't be transmitted towards another person, and that individual need to be exactly at the place physically to be able to experience what they are experiencing. Which is why these events need to have encoding, which what I mean by that is the information need to be transported to audio and visual form. Basically, audio means the sound, and the visual means the image. They need to be transmit to audio and visual form, like TV, is where the production and the distribution comes in. Basically, it's here, the production and distribution. That's where it comes in. Decoding comes in when it was used by audience. So basically, when the audience see that certain event in the TV, they decode and they imply and basically they interpret it in their own way. And this TV shows that how it can spread through a wide area. That's where consumption and reproduction comes in. So I end this by saying the event must become a story before it can become a communicative event. Basically, without the communication, without encoding and decoding, it can't have a story, and the recipient won't understand what it's trying to say. Yeah. Now I've done my presentation. Now I pass to Jonathan for his part.
Thanks, and good morning to Ms. Pina. So I will be presenting about the types of audience of decoding and encoding regarding from Stuart Hall's theories. So the types of audience that in Stuart Hall theories mentioned that there are 3 types of audience. First is dominant audience, second is the oppositional audience, and the third is the negotiated audience. So in this process, I will be explaining how these 3 audience, how they express and how they're thinking, and how they accept or disagrees the text we will be reading. So first is the dominant audience. So what basically is a dominant audience? Dominant means that is superior for its meaning. So dominant audience is where the audience view the media text, they agree with the message it conveys, in which they fully accept the preferred reading. So what basically is, when a producer or a media, they will actually publish any kinds of kinds of text, even they have text media, or even in TV or radio, they will, the people, it's actually the listeners or even readers, they will actually read the text. They will want to understand the message that the producers are wanting to express out. So let's take one example. Mrs. Harry found an advertisement of a grocery store having a promotion and decided to shop there. So an advertisement is from the producers who actually distribute out the message, and Mrs. Harry is the one who decrypt the message because she is a reader. So in his mind, because she had decided to shop there because that she have the interest to shop there because of the promotion. So she have the mindset of she wants to go there because she agrees that the promotion is a good deal for her. And another example, this example doesn't clear it up, I give another example, is that let's say you're buying a car. Let's say a Proton actually distribute the advertisement, say that okay, this is our new model. We want to sell this new model for the first 10,000 customers. So the readers were actually thinking that this is a great promotion. So they first thing they do, like, okay, I'm interested in this kind of promotion, so I will go. First thing I will go there to the showroom and test drive the car. So second type of audience is the negotiated audience. Negotiate means that it has to be a win-win solution. Let's say like a producer and the reader, although the producer have their own kind of idea, but the readers have their other opinions. They quite agree, but they have other ideas that they have their own thinking rather than just fully accepted the producer's meaning. So audience understand and agree with the text but have other opinions in other areas. They partially believes but sometimes modifies it based on the readers, which is the audience, position, experience, and the interest. For example, Mrs. Harry found an advertisement of a grocery store having a promotion. However, she also found another grocery store having promotion as well. So she will consider which store she will shop with the best offer. So Mrs. Harry, she found an advertisement, yes, but she also found another kind of promotion from other stores, meaning that she is also interested in this kind of promotion from this particular store, but she also found out the other stores who also having a promotion, maybe even cheaper or even maybe get value for money. So she will consider that, and might probably that she won't go into that store, she will go to others. Another example I can give is that when you're going to buy a house, let's say the house is from developer A, so I can have another choice because developer A, he said that okay, I want to sell this house for 600,000 ringgit. So the reader who see this message, she's thinking, okay, this house is cheap, but I will hold it first. Maybe I can find other places which is cheaper. So comes with developer B, it comes out a house for selling for 400,000. So he or she, the reader, may want to consider that as well, and consider buying that as well. So they will have a lot of choices. That is negotiated audience. And the third type of audience is the oppositional audience. Oppositional means is definitely like what the producer express out the meaning doesn't fully agrees the audience doesn't fully agrees the producers convey the message. Is completely the opposite thing. So or the audience rejects the encoded meaning, create another idea for a text, and they fully disagree with the message submitted. For example, Mrs. Harry found an advertisement of a grocery store having a promotion. She is not interested on the promotion offered. So basically is Mrs. Harry, she read the text, but she is not interested on the offer, maybe because that she already purchased a few days ago from the same store, or she has already enough grocery in her house. So probably that based on the ideas that or her thinking that she already has much supplies already in her house, so she decided not to go to shop. Another example I can give for oppositional audience is where you let's say flight tickets. Let's say a vendor from Malaysia Airlines, they sell you a flight ticket to London for 10,000 ringgit, for example. So the people who want to go to vacation and suddenly think that no, that's too expensive, I don't want to go to London. So that you want to say, just he or she, the reader wants to save money. So he or she decided they don't want to go vacation. Next. So I'll end this with a case study. In 1973, Stuart Hall sees circulation, both technological and humanical processes through which means move into and up a discursive form. The encoding and decoding text refer to certain occasions, but application of this model has neglected a journalism aspect. In this case study, we can see that Stuart Hall actually he is the founder of this theory because it's underneath under him, obviously. And like what my friend says, he actually what he sees from the encoding decoding is because encoding and decoding they actually related because they actually circulate. It actually is a cycle. It's a circulation. And but somehow because in the journalism aspect they're not going in the journalism aspect the application was not accepted is maybe mainly because it's mainly because that it is not really actually Stuart Hall thinks that menu is not really relevant. So I'll end this presentation here. Thank you very much.